everyone. Welcome to Primetime TV Show. I'm one of your hosts, Barbara Marville Kelly, and with me is my partner in crime.
Yes, it's good to be here again.
So who are you?
Who am I? I'm your husband.
Dennis Kelly. Oh boy, this is going to be a great hour, I can tell you right now.
She does that to me every time we have an opening. She comes up with something new.
Well, at least we're not at the restaurant and I'm calling you Dad.
Oh yeah, that's another whole story.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. I tell you, it has been a crazy week, a really crazy week. But, I was thinking, what can we call this hour to really help lift everybody's spirits? We all know that there is happy hour somewhere in the world right now. Well, we're going to call this hour our happy hour, but it's not what you think, time to sit and drink the alcohol or anything. It's time to lift your spirits. After all, we've had a very trying time this last week. It's been a little challenging with some of the emotional upsets and the loss of our funny man, Mr. Robin Williams, and that has really, really motivated us. Hello, what are you doing?
You muted yourself.
Oh, what did he say? I muted myself? How'd I do that? So they didn't hear a word I was saying. Is that what
That's all they heard.
say? Anyway, we're having some fun today, but I did want to say, yes, we did have a very challenging week last week, and it's really motivated us to bring a lot of really good, healthy living tips to you, to give us all that motivation and inspiration to really help one another and make a difference in this world. That's why we are here, to share all that, and it's fun.
Absolutely. It's fun sharing things.
It is. In this hour, what we wanted to do is really give all of us something to really think about and how to be happy. Okay, so this is the happy hour. How do we be happy? How are we happy when something maybe tragic has happened or some sort of a crisis? And you know what? That's what we're going to be sharing. We're also going to be talking about getting physical, right? We were talking about that just before the show on how that can help us. Because why is that? Why is that when we get physical, what happens to the cells of our body?
Well, it takes your mind off of your challenges. Also getting physical, the types of exercise, walking, running, washing the car, washing the dishes, doesn't matter, getting physical. It keeps your mind off of the right part of the brain and shifts over to the left part. And actually, when you do certain exercises, you're releasing good endorphins into the body, which actually helps compensate for whatever may be sort of egging you the wrong way, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. We're also going to be talking about how feelings affect your thought process and how you can actually adjust that to whatever. It's almost like a happiness meter. We talk about how we can be happy in spite of things and not because of things. So many of us have grown through life thinking, I'm going to be happy when we meet the right person, or we're going to be happy when we get a new car, happy when we get a new house, happy when we have gazillions of dollars in the bank. Is that really happiness?
Yeah, well, the thing is, the key is to learn to be happy, like you mentioned, not because of things, but in spite of things. And actually make up your mind that you want to be happy. Happiness is a state of mind, basically. And the problem is most people aren't happy because they're falling into the biggest lie. The biggest lie is, when I get this, I'll be happy. When I find that right person that I'm dreaming about, that I'm thinking about, I'll be happy. Nobody can make you happy. There's not a single thing, not a single person that can make you happy. And happiness really comes from the inside and goes out, not from the outside in. And then, of course, when you have a tragedy or a situation like that, you can always defend yourself from getting into the negative by basically, what did I learn from this? What could be good about this? Mm-hmm. What lesson was learned? And that really can take you into a whole new area of being able to be in self-control that very few human beings even dream about, let alone do.
And goodness knows we've both had our share of tragedies, challenges, financial setbacks, marriages failed, come and go. And so we had to learn through trial and error, finding our own way to help heal ourselves. And I think that the world, because it's in such volatile times, it seems like it's creating more chaos for us, and we have to take more time to de-stress and all of that. So I'm glad that you're with us today, because we are going to be sharing some exercises that will also help put your body with the good hormones, right?
Right, absolutely.
And the thought process. and different things that we just know to be true. We know in our hearts that it's worked for us. It works for our students, our instructors, our family when they apply these various methods. And as I said last week, in fact, you weren't in my show last week when I did my Chamber TV, and our producer John and I were doing part of it. We had a very special guest in the show, and because of the week was the way it was, we found ourselves talking about some very uncomfortable things, but it's important for us to do that from time to time so that we can maybe get to the root of how we can improve ourselves and maybe avoid some of the pitfalls that people fall in when they can't help themselves, when they can't pick themselves up, when they can't get out of bed in the morning without being depressed. You know, it's all those D words. I mean, death, divorce, depression. You know, it doesn't have to be that way. And if you just maybe take a little bit here and there, some simple little exercises, if we can help you make a difference or help you share with others to make a difference, and we know that we've succeeded on this earth. My husband and I are very driven on this mission to do just that. Something else we're going to be talking about a little bit later on in the show after our exercise segment is that consciousness awareness or that consciousness awakening. And I can't wait to talk about that. And of course, you are the mind shift guru to talk about all of that, because being a sport nutritionist and a heart math life peak performance coach, you know, you've studied in the mountains with heart math, and you know how the science really works in that whole mind, body, spirit arena. So I love that. You know what? We've been together. How many years did we say the other day? Was it 18?
18 years.
Wow, 18
She put up with me for 18 years.
And
she deserves a medal.
No, you put up with me for 18 years too. I don't know if I could put up with myself. I get on my own nerves. Are you kidding me? I do. For those of you that know me, you know that I do. But it's so refreshing to hear of all these years. I've heard the same story, the same presentation, the same explanation about the mind, the body, and the spirit. But every time I still hear it, I still glean something different from it. And then it puts me off in another direction of understanding something else that you've said.
Well, I always try to get people to think of forming a plan to be happy. In other words, first thing, you decide you want to be happy. Like I mentioned, in spite of things rather than because of things. So in my book, The 6 Steps of the Fountain of Youth, I do it in stages. The first stage is exercise, because it's so important to be able to get in the good hormones into the body through exercise, being able to overcome the bad hormones. And we were meant to move. That's why conductive orchestra outlive the general population, because their movement, they move every day in a way that they put in the good chemicals, good hormones into the body. So exercise is very paramount. That's that first step, is getting physical. And then the second is nutrition. Being able to eat right, properly, to feed your body. It's like when I relate to my race car, and of course my second hobby beside dancing is drag racing. And I just sold it recently, but before I sold the car, the thing that was so interesting, this high-powered engine, if I put regular gasoline in it, it would sputter and spit and it wouldn't run right. So when you have a high-performance engine, like our bodies are high-performance engine, you want to use the right fuel. Because if you don't, then the body's not going to react properly to whatever you eat. So 75% of what you eat being water-soluble, and then the other 25% whatever else, meat and chicken, fish, and so on. And being careful about not eating too much red meat. So those are the simple things. So the first step is exercise, then nutrition, and then supplements, the third step. And the third step is important because our soil does not give us the right mineral content. Now, vegetables, the soil can make vitamins out of vegetables, but it can't make minerals out of the soil. There's only 3 real minerals in our soil. We need about 60 trace minerals to truly be healthy. So you need to supplement your diet with minerals and vitamins. And if you notice, the first 3 stages of the 6 Steps of the Fountain of Youth, the name of my book, is all physical things. Then once we accomplish that, then we go into the next stage, the 4th stage, which is relaxation, being able to relax. Pascal said something quite profound many years ago. All of human unhappiness comes from one single thing: not being able to remain quietly in a room alone. There is so much to wisdom to that statement. Being able to enjoy being alone, being able to enjoy sitting there, relaxing, going into a semi-state of meditation, or basically just doing deep breathing. That's so important to be able to relax. That means that you're going to improve your concentration abilities and your focus abilities. To be anything great in life, to be happy, you have to be able to really concentrate. Just like I've often said in the cliche, the attention is the weapon of the super warrior. Attention develops concentration. Concentration develops spiritual power. And spiritual power is the mightiest force in existence. So just being able to learn to relax, focus your mind, being able to keep your mind on the things you want and off the things you don't want. And anyway, then we get to the next stage, which is a psychological profile. That is so very, very important. Being able to control your thoughts, not just being able to focus and concentrate, but what you focus and concentrate on. A great book written by Shad Helmstetter.
Oh boy, yes.
What do I say? What do I say when I talk to myself? In other words, we speak to ourselves 65,000 words a day. And women speak more words than men, believe it or not. And we think 65,000 words a day and speak 15 to 20,000. I had that a little backwards there.
That's a lot of words. That's a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, women speak about 500 to 1,000 words per minute more than men. And that's understandable. They got more to speak about. That's why one thing I've been told, why women live longer than men. Do you know why women live longer than men?
So we have to be staying around to clean up the mess.
She knew. She heard
I've
it.
heard you say that before.
She just took my thunder. All right, well, that's good. It means you're paying attention.
I was
got a wife that
focused.
pays attention. How about
I was
that?
focused and I was concentrating on every word you were saying.
So the object of psychological profile is to have a high emotional IQ.
Okay.
A high emotional IQ is one that can, at will, reach that state of consciousness that is desirable and beneficial to meet any given circumstance. And that's quite profound when you think about it. No matter what happens, you have the ability to form the right emotion to handle that situation. And you know, that is not as hard to do as you would think. It just takes focus and concentration to be able to do that.
And developing a habit in doing
And
that,
it
correct?
takes 21 days to form a habit. And we'll get into our next segment a little bit more into Shad
Okay.
Helmstetter and that. And then the next stage after physical profile and the final stage is being able to be happy. So when you exercise, you eat the proper nutrition, and 75% of what you eat and being good stuff. Then the other 25% you can sort of get by with it. And then when you get to the supplements, and then you learn to relax. Practice makes perfect. And then when you change your psychological profile to where you are in control of your emotions, and that takes practice, then it's so much easier to be happy. Because when you do all 5 of those things, it'd be impossible almost not to be happy.
Well, you know, it's true. And when you were writing your book, and you were using me as an example, or a guinea pig, or whatever you want to call it, it was really amazing because I was working in the wee hours of the morning, and so I was working against my circadian rhythms. It was hard for me to get out there and exercise, eat properly, and all of that. But once I started to slowly do 1 week at a time, 1 step at a time, and even to this day, if I can keep that mindset, it helps me really focus more, concentrate more, and it's almost like you have to develop a master mindset, and it can be done if you learn how to master each one of these qualities. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. In our next segment, I'm going to show the audience a couple exercises that can change your life dramatically. These exercises, actually, that we're going to show can add years to your life and life to yours. In fact, Dr. Oz on national TV backs up what I'm saying, and I will sort of keep that for our suspense on what's going to come in our next segment.
You know, I think the whole world needs this. We're going to try to do this, or we will do this, as God willing. We're here every Monday, live at 5. We're going to try to have this exercise segment so that you can share this with whoever you feel you want to share it with, because these exercises can make, like you said, a major difference. And when you see what they are, in fact, I mean, you can do them right along with us. They're very simple. We have classes where people are in a seated position, some are wheelchair challenged, and that kind of thing. And for those of you that happen to know us, you know my husband's a certification board for Tai Chi and Qigong. But even above and beyond that, being a life coach with HeartMath Institute and just meshing and overlapping the concepts together, it just makes a well-rounded program so that you have all the tools right at your fingertips to where you can master that mind. We're going to talk about that whole feeling process. And I never knew that. I thought our thoughts controlled our feelings, which they can in reverse, but you had said to me before, from the science that you learned from HeartMath Institute, that you feel first. Is that right?
We are genetically engineered to feel before we think. And that's obvious how people react to certain stimuli, negative, and how they react. And that is really designed. Our Paleolithic ancestors, they basically were saved by that ability to be able to, they focus more on the negative. In other words, when they saw danger, then there was a part of the brain called the amygdala that would actually remember all the negative things. And of course, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have been able to survive over the period of the years. So in modern day society, we're not genetically engineered to handle these kind of concept changes. In other words, we're not genetically engineered to handle the type of negativity with so many things happening at one time. And the reason is we're genetically engineered to look for the negative for survival purposes rather than looking for the positive. Now, people that look for the negative and they dwell on that, they may probably not lose as many businesses. They probably won't go through as many pitfalls as an optimist, someone that will be willing to try it, to stick their neck out a little bit. There's Theodore Roosevelt said one of my favorite sayings: "Far greater is it to win mighty victories, even though checkered by failure, to take rank with those poor spirits and live in the area of no defeat or no trying." In other words, they're afraid to go for the goal because they might miss. They're afraid to go backwards because they might lose. They live on the 50-yard line of life. So the key thing is, by the way, the interesting book by, I'm trying to remember, Martin Seligman. The book is Learned Optimism. They found out that optimists live longer than pessimists. And the biggest thing is not so much that they live longer, they live healthier, and they actually have more adventures. In other words, they live many lives, where a pessimist may not experience some of the pitfalls, but they only live one life.
So would you say that maybe a pessimist, they're living in fear, false evidence appearing real?
Absolutely.
Whereas an optimist, they're ready to go for the gusto.
There's
they're
only,
not afraid to take
there's
a
only
chance.
two emotions, according to the Course of Miracles: fear and love.
Fear
You're
and
either
love.
in one of the two. You can't be in between. You're either in love or fear. You can be what they call flatlining, but you're not, at least not in fear. And flatlining, basically, you're more on the love side than you are on the negative side. And that's so important to realize that that aspect has so much bearing on what the quality of life we have. Most people live their life in fear because 77% of the population are negative. We're engineered, engineered, that's the word I was looking for, engineered to be negative, for survival purposes. But in the modern day society, that doesn't give us a chance to really gain the benefits of being an optimist.
You know, there's a lot of truth to that. And I'm just thinking back over the years on programming my feelings in my brain and all of that, just by living a heart-empowered life, which is very helpful. And as you watch our shows, you're going to learn a lot of the things that we've applied in our own lives. It's just a regular program, and it's not really hard to do. But one of the biggest things for the average person, like you were saying, is how to focus, how to concentrate. I mean, like you say, there's so many concept changes, which in turn, because of those concept changes, and when you cannot focus or concentrate, how do you get things done successfully? And you were talking, I want to rewind a little bit when you were talking about being quiet and alone in a room. just can you talk about that for a second? I know we've got a break coming up here shortly, but just that concept itself. There's a lot of people that have to be with someone all the time, or always talking to someone on the phone all the time, and they can't be quiet with themselves.
Well, basically, we call it what is the word? In other words, it's where you expect them to make you happy, and in other words, they're not self-reliant. They try to be able to get their happiness from someone else. And it doesn't work that way. Nobody else can make you happy.
That's so true.
Like I said, the biggest lie is when I get this, I'm going to be happy.
It's so
and
true.
and when you get alone into that state where you're in your own little world and being able to sit in a quiet room alone, then how that conversation goes, in other words, what consists of that conversation will have a lot to do with what controls your life. So when you're sitting alone by yourself, to be able to really let yourself relax and let yourself think and focus on where you want to go in life, what goals you want, what type of life do you want to predict for yourself, what type of life do you want to actually create for yourself. It's sort of like being the movie director. Rather than a person in the movie, you're the director of the movie.
Yeah.
So how do you want your movie to go? Most people are in a movie, they're doing a bit part in the movie, and somebody else is being the director.
Exactly, and they're not in control.
Yeah, so ask yourself, who's directing my movie? So if somebody else is directing your movie, change that. You be the director.
That's what you did. That's what
Absolutely.
I've done. Exactly. In fact, way before I met you, that's exactly what you were doing. You decided to treat your life as if it was the movie that you will have coming out one day, and it was just as if you were the director and the producer and the actor, and you made it happen scene by scene by the way you programmed your self-thinking, your self-speaking, and that inner dialogue and your belief system, correct? Didn't you have to break some belief systems as you were growing up?
Absolutely.
And growing older?
The key when you want to be successful in anything, and this was one of my, how would I say it, greatest assets, I was able to think to myself, what do I have to believe to make this happen?
Oh, I love this
It's
line.
going to take
Yes.
a lot of work. I have the talent and the ability to do this because we have unlimited potential. Everybody, every human being has a champion inside them ready to come out. It just takes a little bit of coaxing by some others or by events in your life that sort of stimulate to want to be successful. So you ask yourself, what do I want out of life? In other words, try to put forth the movie that you want to make. So 20-some years ago, actually 25 years ago, I decided what kind of movie I wanted to have in my life. Decided I wanted to be a world champion. I decided in the martial arts, because the martial arts was very good to me. It helped me get over a lot of different obstacles in my life, helped me focus and concentrate. And then I was able to, from the standpoint of being able to focus and concentrate, I was able to do something that Dennis Waitley in his books, great guy, great author, also worked with some of the Olympic athletes, Dennis Waitley. He came up with something years ago that really was way out on the limb, but there's so much truth to it now, and actually there's proof that there's a lot to what he said. When you focus your mind on a goal, when you see it like it's already accomplished, 18 to 20 billion brain cells start being activated. Brain cells, and they have one purpose for these brain cells, and that's to attract that event. And then that thing that you're attracting actually vibrates at that same vibration level you're vibrating. So the more you focus, the more you concentrate, and seeing that goal is already happening, that brings that goal to you. And that was my biggest asset over the period of years. I made it and lost it financially several times in my life, but every time I did, I grew.
You grew and you learned from it.
Now I have my health. I don't necessarily as wealthy as I used to be at one point, but that doesn't matter. Because, you know, it's like so many people, one of my other favorite saying is so many people give up their health to gain their wealth. They work, they toil, they slave, only to end up to have to give up their wealth to regain their health, and all they get is an early grave.
It's true.
And I've seen it happen. My partner, my wonderful partner that I was in business with, he decided to go and make the millions. I decided to go and work on the mind, the body, and the emotions and not worry about the money, because the money will come. Well, he ended up committing suicide. And he was worth millions of dollars because he was in such bad physical shape, and he had a lot of pride. He's a John Wayne type of guy, big guy, strong, and lost all of his health because he was trying so much to regain his wealth, or I should say gain his wealth, which he did. They even named a street after him in Atlanta, Georgia. And that was a great lesson to me. I mean, I'm glad I went the route that I did because, again, I've got my health. What else do you have? It doesn't matter if you don't have your health.
You know, there's a lot of truth to that. There really is. And I tell you, that story about your friend, it hit home for me too, because, you know, there's so many different choices that we can make in life that can help us really grow in that mind, body, spirit arena. But unless we're led in some way, or, you know, it's not that easy for everyone. You know, it really isn't. But we kind of know somehow, you know, if we have somebody to help lead us. We're going to take a brief little time out. When we come back, we're going to show you some really fantastic exercises. You will feel the results immediately. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this, okay?
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Hi, I'm Derek Brooks, former linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. During my NFL career, I realized the importance of giving back and started my foundation, Derek Brooks Charities. We help Tampa Bay youth prepare for a successful life through our college prep and mentoring programs. Our goal is to see youth excel academically and develop strong characters and be better citizens for tomorrow. To further our mission, we've teamed up with Fun Night, a company that gives members access to thousands of nationwide discounts on products and services they buy every day. These include entertainment, retail purchases, dining, and travel. Best of all, 33% of every membership fee goes to the charity of your choice. We love being able to save our supporters money while giving them a unique opportunity to support our charitable work in the community. I invite you to consider using Fun Night to save money and give back to your favorite cause. Visit www.funnight.us to sign up now and get a free 30-day trial. Save money, help others with Fun Night, and support Derek Brooks Charities.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today. This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
The environment here is really kid-friendly, family-friendly. The parents are welcome to watch.
It's definitely been a different atmosphere since Dr. Becerra has come on. It's very inviting and welcoming, and the children just enjoy coming here all around.
My middle son did not like to come to the dentist, but now he loves to come to the Beehive.
You don't have to be afraid to go to the dentist. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Mortgages don't need to be complicated. At Norcom, we're here to guide you through the process. By following our tried and true path to success, we make homes happen. To get started, give us a call or apply online. A trusted mortgage consultant will reach out to you to find out what your goals are. Whether you're in the market to purchase a new home or refinance your current home, we are dedicated to helping you achieve your goals. At Norcom, we'll provide a best-in-class customer experience. Once a plan is established, your mortgage consultant will analyze your income, assets, and credit profile in order to customize a plan for you. If you're planning on moving in the next few years, we might suggest an adjustable rate mortgage to be the best option for you. If you're a veteran, we'll get you started on a VA loan with 0% down. And if you're thinking long-term, a 30-year fixed loan might be your best fit. Our professionals are up to date on market trends and will help you make the best decision in choosing your rate. After we've found the program that's best for you, we'll then need to collect some information, including pay stubs, bank statements, and tax forms. Our underwriting team steers a loan through the approval process to verify that all the information you've provided is correct. As the underwriting process is taking place, an appraisal is ordered to determine the value of your home. A professional, local appraiser specializing in your area will determine the home's value. The last leg of this journey is closing your loan. While taking care of any last-minute details, our closing team will work on scheduling your closing date and location. It's that simple. Thank you for taking some time to walk through the mortgage path with us. Remember, we're always here to answer any questions you may have. It may seem intimidating, but here at Norcom Mortgage, we make homes happen.
And we're back here with Primetime TV Show. It looks like maybe you can hear me now. Sorry about that. We had some microphone issues earlier on. But I want to welcome you into Primetime. I'm your host, one of them anyway, Barbara Marville Kelly. We are going to be talking about exercise now. And I was earlier on getting ready to tell you about why exercise is so important, because it's the kind of exercises that we do that can really help stop stress right in its tracks, on the spot, anytime, anywhere. And what's great about this is you never know when you may need something like this to pull from, whether it's at your place of business, in relationships, and just the overall world events that's going on. So I'm going to toss over to my husband, Dennis Kelly, and he's going to show you some of our favorite moves, one which is called opening the chest, the other one is circling, and then I believe he's also going to do the 6 quick fixes that will help you de-stress on the spot anytime. Right, hon?
Absolutely. Welcome to the wonderful world of Qigong and Tai Chi. What I'm going to show you today are several moves from the art of Qigong and the art of Tai Chi. As I said so many times when we did our shows, that Qigong was developed centuries ago by the monks around 475 AD for health purposes. And over a period of years, they had the strongest bodies, mentally, physically, and emotionally, than all of Asia. Then, several centuries later, they developed Tai Chi as a self-defense mechanism to ward off the bandits that were stealing their food. So when you put the combination of these two arts together, you have by far, without any equivocation, you have the finest anti-aging exercise in the world. Dr. Oz just recently on national TV said, if you want to live to be 100, do Qigong. Many reasons why these exercises are so great. Rather than getting into the reasons tonight, I want to show you some of the different moves and what our most famous moves are for getting rid of toxins, for improving the hormonal balance in the body, and also to be able to get oxygen and a thing called nitric oxide into the system, which is nature's greatest anti-aging gas that you create by breathing deeply, and especially movement to breathing deeply. Excuse me. The first movement I'm going to show you comes from Qigong. It's called opening the chest. Now the interesting thing about this move here, it is one of the most powerful moves in Qigong, being able to get rid of toxic buildup in the upper part of the body, and also be able to keep from being depressed or anxious, and put yourself in a delicious, wonderful, good move, just doing something physically. All right? Now, in this move here, what I want you to do, before I do it, I want you to try to think about something that makes you feel negative. In other words, get sort of depressed. Because what I'm going to show you now is a move that's impossible to be depressed when you do this next movement, or the first movement called opening the chest. So stand with your feet shoulders width apart and follow me. Now I challenge you to be depressed when we do this move. Now think of something negative, and I promise I won't ask you to do that again. Think of something negative, something that when you think about it, it makes you feel bad. All right, follow me now. And remember to inhale through the nose, as I mentioned last time we were together, and exhale through the mouth. So inhale as we come up, all right? And then turn the hands over so you're looking at the palms, the thumb sticking up straight, and then continue inhaling here. Now give me a nice smile. Now try to be depressed right here. It's impossible psychologically, physiologically, and philosophically to be depressed right here. Then slowly exhale as we come to shoulder width apart, and once you're shoulder width apart, then come down slowly like leaves falling off of a tree. Now inhale through the nose, open up, give me a little or big smile if you can. Now slowly exhale through the mouth. This is really great for getting a lot of toxic buildup in the upper body, and it is so good for putting good hormones in the body, and also getting, like I mentioned, nitric oxide and oxygen into the cells. Inhale through the nose, open up wide, exhale through the mouth. Now here's another great benefit to this move, and it's called an anchoring, or another word is a cue. In other words, when we get to this point right here, if you can think of a time in your life that was very special, go back, the further back you go, the better. The time in our life when we're very young, or younger than we are now, and a moment that makes you feel good when you think about it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lock that thought into the movement, so every time you do the movement, you're going to have that thought. Now what is the advantage of having that thought? The advantage is when you have that thought, you're putting good hormones into the body. And if you go, and they're healing hormones, they're good hormones like serotonin, oxytocin, and movements or hormones like that. Now when you go back in time, here's the interesting thing, and I got this from Deepak Chopra, who we had a wonderful opportunity to work with for a week in Innsbruck, in his Primordial Sound Meditation Week. All right, what you're going to do is you're going to go back in time when you were younger, and when you think about something that makes you feel real good, then when you anchor that right here and think about that and feel that, then every time you do that movement, you don't even have to think about it. You'll put good hormones into the body that you no longer, in other words, that are no longer existing in your body. In other words, going back in time, you actually, it's like a time, it's looking into the future. You bring that movement to the future, to now, and it puts in certain hormones into the body. They're very healthy, like I mentioned. So let's do that again. Inhale through the nose, open up wide, give me a nice smile, and then slowly exhale. Now every time you do that movement, you're going to feel that thought, to get the benefits of that thought. Now this time let's do it, and I don't want you to even think about it. Just let it come naturally. Now right here, whether you're thinking about it or not, you're putting those hormones in. So let's anchor those hormones again, or I should say those movements again. Let's anchor them right here again. Inhale, open up wide. Now as you give me a smile, think about that time in your life that was very special, way back, that makes you feel good, and try to capture that feeling. Even if you don't capture the feeling, just thinking about it will help tremendously. Then slowly exhale and down. Okay, there is our Qigong movement of the day. The next is our Tai Chi movement. Now, this movement I'm going to show you in Tai Chi is one of the most important movements in Tai Chi because it covers all 5 of the elements in Tai Chi. Turning waist, yin and yang, relaxation, and erect posture, and circling. Those 5 elements are all in this one particular move I'm going to show you. And you can actually do this movement in Qigong also, and I'll show you the difference between when you do it for Qigong and when you do it for Tai Chi. And we'll start off with one hand, and everybody watching, take your left hand and put it out to your left, and I'm using my right hand so you can follow me as a mirror. We're going to first do it for Qigong. Scoop up the earth, let it come down naturally. Come up eye high and right across the eyes, turning your waist to the left, and throw the left hand out, just like you're saying stop. Then scoop up the earth, and notice I'm turning my waist, bring it up eye high, and then across the eyes for healing, and then throw it out. Let's do a couple more. Scoop up the earth, inhale as we do this. Now exhale as I come across the eyes. Exhale on the way down. Inhale as we come across. Now let's put our right hand out there and scoop up the earth with the right hand, bring it up eye high, and turning the waist to the right as the right hand comes across the eyes. Throw it out, Scoop up the earth, bring it across the eyes, and throw it out. Now let's do it with two hands. Follow me. Bring the right hand across the eyes. Let the other hand fall down like it's naturally with gravity. Now coming across the eyes with the left hand, throw them out. Now come across the eyes with the right hand. Throw the hands out. And notice I'm turning my waist. I'm moving the hands by turning my waist. Now in Qigong, the hands come across the eyes. Now, how do we make that into or change it into Tai Chi? In Tai Chi, the hand comes across. Let's throw the arms out. It comes across the chest, under the chin, because in Tai Chi, we don't want, being that was devoted Tai Chi designed for self-defense. Obviously, if your hands come across the eyes like this, you can't very well defend yourself. So this movement is really great in Tai Chi because it really, every muscle, every tenon is working in perfect unity to make that movement fluid and be able to, when you need it for self-defense purposes, that hand will move out in a speed double of what the normal hand would move with someone that doesn't practice these exercises. When we move slow, like I mentioned, every muscle, every ligament is working in perfect balance so that, boom, if you had to hit somebody right here, of course, obviously they would really suffer some very severe consequences. So let's do that together. Let's do it now for Tai Chi. Bring the right hand across the chest, throw the hands out. Now left hand across the chest, throw the hands out. Right hand across the chest. Now this doesn't matter what movement you do. When you do a movement hundreds of times slow, it's very relaxing, puts good hormones into the body. And also, when you want to use it for self-defense, that movement will be executed with much more speed, power, and also with focus. And there you have the Tai Chi Qigong movements. Now we're going to review our 6 quick fixes of Qigong. Do I have enough time for that, Director? All right. Start with your feet, shoulders width apart. The first one is the 5-element warm-up. Now what I want you to do out there is just follow me and try to mirror what I'm doing. Here we go. Remember to inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. That's very important. Inhale as we come up, slowly exhale as we come down. This is called the 5-element warm-up, designed to reduce stress down to 0. When you come to your waist, pull the hands up, inhale. Fill up the lungs, exhale as we reach out. Inhale as we come back with our hands coming across our temples. Exhale as we push out. Inhale as we bring it into the chest. Reach up as far as we can as we inhale. Then exhale, exhale all the way down. Now let's repeat that again. Smell the flowers. Very slowly blowing out the candles, 1 candle at a time. Inhale through the nose, fill up the lungs. Exhale through the mouth. Bring it back to the temples as we inhale. Exhale as we push out. Inhale as we bring it into the chest. Exhale as we reach up like we're reaching a furthest star. Then inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale all the way down. Then the next one is bring the lotus to the temple, using the power of the imagination. Put your feet a little bit more than shoulders width. And Einstein said the strongest force in the universe is the power of imagination. So I want you to imagine that this flower has healing power. Because in Asia, that's the sacred flower, and they really believe that. Now I believe it's more of the power of the imagination rather than the power of the flower. So inhale as we come down with the feet shoulders width, a little bit more. Then slowly continue inhaling. Then exhale as we let it out, touching the 2 pinky fingers. That's important to create a circuit of energy. Then inhale as we open up, focus on the palms. Exhale as we push out really tight. And loosen up as we inhale. Exhale as we come down, picking up the beautiful lotus again. Then we inhale, inhale, make sure it's through the nose. Then exhale, exhale through the mouth. Slowly exhaling as the hands come down like leaves falling off of a tree, feeling totally relaxed, at ease in every single cell with happy, smiley faces. Let's do it one more time. Inhale through the nose. Continue smelling the flowers. Exhale as we let it out, touching the 2 pinky fingers. Inhale as we open up. Exhale as we push out really tight. Inhale as we form the arch. Exhale as we come down, picking up that beautiful lotus again. Inhale, inhale, up over the head. And slowly exhale, feeling totally relaxed, at ease, free from disease. All right, the next one, number 3, is centering. This is very good for focus, concentration, and so simple, but yet such a powerful move. And try to not have any internal dialogue as that hand comes down, and try to keep it in your peripheral vision as long as you can, even though we're looking straight forward. Starting with your left hand, follow me. Smell the flowers. Continue inhaling. Now slowly exhale. The exhale should take a little bit longer than the inhale. Coming down, focusing on that hand, becoming a hand, and try not to have any internal chatter going on. Now with your right hand, inhale. Slowly exhale. Feeling totally relaxed, at ease. Keep that hand in your peripheral vision as far as you can. So smell the flowers. Slowly, slowly blowing out the candles, one candle at a time. This is so good for focus, concentration, being able to also reduce stress. All right, there you have centering. The next one is called the press. This is develop upper body strength, getting rid of tension in the neck and the shoulders so you get more blood to the brain. So not only will this help you think better, it'll help you feel better and strengthen an upper body. Fold the fingers just like this, palms facing up. So we inhale as we come up. When you can't come up any further, turn the palms down. Exhale, go down as far as you can stand it or handle it. And you want to fix your eyes where the ceiling meets the wall. We'll hold it down here for about 10 seconds. Best results are if you can exhale for the full 10 seconds. If that's too difficult, then just hold your breath. Then we'll inhale as we come up, and then slowly exhale as we come down, feeling totally relaxed, at ease. Every single cell with happy, smiley faces, all 150 trillion of them. Inhale as we come up, turn the palms down, exhale as we go down as far as you can handle it, hold it there. Good, now we inhale as we come up, slowly, slowly exhale as we descend. All right, the next one is called the wave. This is good for learning body control. I like to call this one the universal dance because it has such beautiful, easy movements, but it has a lot of benefits of putting good hormones into the body, as they all do. Starting with your left hand, follow me. Inhale as we come up to the front of your head without touching. Now slowly exhale as we come down, and think of scooping up the earth and throwing it right up into the heavens. As we inhale, exhale as we come down. Now with your right hand, smell the flowers. Slowly blowing out the candles. Inhale as we come up. Exhale as we come down. Now with the left hand, inhale. Slowly, the slower we go, the better. And then inhale as we come up. Keeping the hand also in your peripheral vision, just like you did with centering. Smell the flowers, slowly blowing out the candles. All right, there you go. That's number 5. Number 6, moving the chi. I like to call this one the internal massage. Think of each hand being like a scanner. When we move the hands in this fashion, it's scanning all the internal organs, looking for things that might need fixing, and in some cases actually going about fixing them. Even though we may not never know what was fixed. As long as we feel better, that's what counts. And that's usually the outcome when we do these movements in most of the cases. That's why these exercises are priceless when it comes to living healthy and longer. All right, put your right hand just slightly under the throat, left hand an inch below the belly button. Now the bottom hand comes up on the inside. It should every time. Inhale as we come up with a little pause. Exhale as we descend with a little pause. Smell the flowers with a little pause. Blow out the candles with a little pause. Imagine a bright, hot, warm light penetrating the body, attaching itself to all the organs, making them healthier, happier, and working better than ever. The power of belief, the power of imagination is so strong that it far exceeds in many ways what medicine can do for us. And most everything we do to music, but so you can understand what I'm saying, we're just foregoing the music for now. All right, and that concludes our 6 movements of the quick fixes. Each of those are from a different style of Qigong, and each of those has a specific purpose, as I mentioned. And then we do our what we call our customary martial art bow in tribute to our veterans and our soldiers that are protecting our freedom. Bring your left foot to the right. Put out your left hand, that means friendship. We're friendly people. Curl your left thumb, that means integrity. We're honest people. Make a fist with the right hand, that means strength or power. Put the fist in the palm and our gentle bow. There you have it, the 6 quick fixes of Qigong. And I bow to you. God bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Hi, I'm Derek Brooks, former linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. During my NFL career, I realized the importance of giving back and started my foundation, Derek Brooks Charities. We help Tampa Bay youth prepare for a successful life through our college prep and mentoring programs. Our goal is to see youth excel academically and develop strong characters and be better citizens for tomorrow. To further our mission, we've teamed up with Fun Night, a company that gives members access to thousands of nationwide discounts on products and services they buy every day. These include entertainment, retail purchases, dining, and travel. Best of all, 33% of every membership fee goes to the charity of your choice. We love being able to save our supporters money while giving them a unique opportunity to support our charitable work in the community. I invite you to consider using Fun Night to save money and give back to your favorite cause. Visit www.funnight.us to sign up now and get a free 30-day trial. Save money, help others with Fun Night, and support Derek Brooks Charities.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Me is Grandmaster Dennis Kelly. I'm so relaxed.
Yes.
Just watching, and I wasn't even doing the exercise.
Well, you know, people can get a lot of benefits just watching somebody do
Yeah.
that. They're actually producing good hormones in the body. Just like if you come across somebody doing an act of kindness with another person, you get the same amount of good hormones going in the body as the person actually gives the act of kindness and receives the act
I've
of kindness.
heard that.
Oh yeah,
That's
it's
wonderful.
amazing.
That's how we can make a difference in the world.
Absolutely.
Is being kinder and sharing more and more. So we're almost at the close of our show, and we promised you that we were going to be talking about this conscious awakening and what's happening around the planet and how we can, make a difference. And I know, did you want to do a mindful exercise or just explain how that works?
Sort of a simple explanation of how this works, based a lot on what Shad Helmstetter did in his research in his book, What Do I Say When I Talk to Myself? Great book, I recommend reading it. I've read it several times, got a lot out of it. What I did, I just changed the structure of it a little bit to make it easier to get people to understand. There is a system that we can use to really learn to control how we feel. Because first of all, feeling is quicker than thinking. In other words, how we feel, we're genetically engineered to receive the results of how we feel faster than the way we think.
Okay.
And HeartMath did a lot of research that was quite profound. They took groups of people, they wired them up with EKG machines and spectral analysis machines, the biofeedback machines, so they could measure the brain waves and measure the heart rate variability, the heart rate waves, and so on. So what they wanted to find out, what really responded first? Did the brain respond faster than the heart, or the heart respond to stimuli faster than the brain? In other words, were our emotions geared by our heart sooner than they were by the brain? And there is a brain and a heart according to that research, but we won't get into that now. That comes from another whole session. So anyway, what they would do is show pictures, horrible pictures of accidents or so, to get to see which one would be stimulated first. And then they would show beautiful scenes of countryside and so on. So when they did this experiment, what happened is it blew everybody's mind. Because what happened is, before they even showed the picture, the heart would actually respond.
Really?
So the heart knew what was coming. The brain did not have that ability. And that just set everybody into a wow type thing. It's like, this is unbelievable. What that means is basically the heart is intuitive.
And is that probably goes back to where, you know, when we make that gut feeling, you get that gut feeling?
There's a brain in the gut. And we'll get into that sometimes. 3 brains, one in the heart, one in the head, and one in the gut. And they communicate with each other. There's over 100 million neurons in the spinal column, I should say in the gut, more so than in the spinal column. And the gut, actually, when you have a gut feeling, haven't you? I'm sure everybody out there has had a gut feeling. When you go against it, you suffer the consequences.
That's right.
When you go by that gut feeling, it's usually 99% right. So this led us to really realizing there is a way we control our life a lot easier by learning to use the heart. Now, I'm not going to get into too much about the heart right now based on a lot of the research done by HeartMath. That's a whole 30-minute to an hour session on that alone, which is quite interesting. But what I want to do is give you a quick review of how we can actually tap into that wonderful knowledge of the heart, that intuitive spirit of the heart. First of all, we have, think of yourself having a circle, and up here in the top of the circle is the program. That's the information we get from outside stimuli. And most of the information coming into the program is negative, because 77% of the people out there are negative. They think negative more than they do positive. They're going by fear. They're running away from everything that motivates them, is trying to avoid, spending most of their time thinking about what they don't want rather than what they do want, see? So the program up there isn't always the best. Then you have over here to my right, you have the belief system. So our program, what comes into the program fortifies or strengthens or creates our belief system. So naturally, we're affected so much by outside stimuli to produce a belief system. In a lot of cases, it isn't so much what you don't know that hurts you, it's what you know that isn't true that hurts you. For example, what's real in life is governed by the principles of life, by the belief, by actually what happens. But what really gears our experience in life are perceptions. In other words, back when when people thought the world was flat, they limited their travel. Obviously, they didn't want to fall off the edge of the world. Now that we know the world is round, we know that we don't have to fall off the end of there, so we have more experiences. We travel more. We're not afraid of falling off the end of the world or end of the
Thank goodness, right?
Yeah, right, actually. So the belief system is so important. And then what you believe then affects your attitude. So your program then goes to belief, and then your belief forms your attitude, which is basically your personality. So if the attitude, if your thinking is stinking, as Zig Ziglar said, so are the results.
So are the results, yeah.
So if your attitude, meaning you have a low emotional IQ, then the next thing that covers, is your feelings. So what your attitude is going to determine upon what you feel. And then what you feel determines upon what your actions or results are going to be. In other words, your feelings determine your actions. Then your actions determine your results. So it comes full circle. So we have up here the program, then we have the belief system, then from the belief system we have our attitude, then from the attitude we have our feelings, then our feelings determine upon our actions, and our actions go back to the program. So if we have a negative belief system, then our attitude is going to be negative, then we're going to get poor feelings, we're not going to feel good. As a result, we get poor actions, and poor actions constitute poor results.
Poor results.
Which means it goes back into the program, it keeps going the
Cycle.
downhill cycle.
Over and over and over and over.
But once we learn to be able to control that and only let go into the belief system that is positive things, optimistic thinking, then from there it goes to the attitude, changes our personality, increases our emotional IQ because now we're in control of our life. We're doing things that are optimistic. We're doing things that allow us to grow. Because fear of failure keeps people from ever growing. They're afraid to try, afraid to go for the goal because they might miss, afraid to go backwards because they might lose. So then if our attitude is better and our feelings are better and we feel better about things, then our actions are going to be much better. The results we're getting are going to be much better. That's the next stage. Then the program is improved because then we learn how to siphon out what we don't want because of increasing our focus. We concentrate on what we do want. So then we go into a spiral that keeps going upward. Then our belief system improves. Then our attitude improves. Then our feelings improve, our action improve, and then the results improve.
You know, it sounds really simple, and in a sense it is, but again, it goes back to really mastering each one of these exercises, and so that you can get in that cycle more for the good, more for the positive, as opposed to being pessimistic and following that downward, spiral over and over
again. Can you give me a little drink of your water there?
Sure.
Got a little frog in my throat here.
It's one of those things where practice makes perfect, right? Practice makes perfect. And you know what? Unless you actually know what to do, I mean, that's really the key, is knowing what to do. And goodness, we've done all kinds of research. We've applied different techniques. Some haven't worked, so we've, chucked those to the wayside. But really and truly, the system that we use has worked for us. And again, it's taken a little time, and we always go back to it. We always go back to that.
Right, and well, you can tell this is an unedited version. All right, now here is another thing that you can do that is very effective. Take a sheet of paper, 8 by 10 sheet of paper, right? Then draw a line across, horizontal line across the paper, right in the middle of the paper, and draw another one under that about 1 inch apart across the paper, right? Then write their flatlining. Just write the word flatlining across in that space. Then number from 1 to 10 going up to the top of the page, and then on the lower line, number 1 to 10 going down. Now the up 1 to 10 is your positive feelings, your positive vibration. We all vibrate at different rates.
Sure.
And we're positive. Love is the highest form of vibration in the universe. Hate and revenge are the lowest vibration.
And they're way below that line.
They're way down to 10. 10 with the positive is I just won the lottery. Or I just had a beautiful grandson, just like you're really a number 10. In fact, sometimes that can be a little bit of a setback. We'll get in just a minute. So the key is to dwell in the positive as much as you possibly can throughout the day. Like at a number 3 or 4 or 5. You can't, if you dwell at a 10, you'll wear out. You could actually get sick.
I know.
Because you're wasting energy. Allow yourself to get up to be a 10. And then allow yourself to sink down, let it go down into about a 4 or 5. Where you want to stay out of it is in the negative, going down 1 to 10, like
below that line.
Death of a loved one or extreme anger can bring you way down to a 10. You don't want to dwell there at all. Sometimes it's good to get into the negative, sometimes like a kick in the butt when you are getting a little lazy and not following through in your goal setting and things like that. Sometimes you have to get into the negative before you go up to the positive.
To boost you up. Kind of like complacency, when you get a little complacent.
I used to use my stepfather's voice, "You're a bum, you'll never amount to anything," to get me to kickstart into the positive. And then after a number of years, I didn't have to use that anymore. So the key is you're either into the positive, you're into the negative, or you're into the flatlining. Now, the thing about flatlining, you're not either positive or negative, but the problem with that is if you're flatlining, it's easier to fall into the negative. The old saying is if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So that can be a dangerous area to dwell in that area. There's no benefits in that area. At least you're not negative, but you're not getting any positive hormones either. So the important thing is, how do you regulate that? Now, this helped me build one of my top businesses. The business that I was in, we broke every sales record in the book. And what we did is I had all the staff doing this as a chart every single day. Now, how you get to dwell into the positive, you can't every hour, every minute be thinking about what you're thinking. Because if you do, you would actually be driving yourself mad. You would be detracting from all your other goals. You wouldn't be focused on what you want. So throughout the day, every half hour, every hour, preferably every half hour or so, just how do I feel? Ask yourself, how do I feel? Well, emotionally, spiritually. Now, you might feel bad physically. Does that mean you have to feel bad emotionally? I'm talking about emotionally and spiritually, how do I feel? And usually that'll affect the way you feel positively. In other words, physically, I meant to say. So what you do is you ask yourself, how do I feel? Now, if you're not feeling good emotionally, spiritually, then ask yourself, what's going on here? Then you've got to change that. You can't get rid of it. You have to replace it. So replace that with a good positive feeling. I call it attitude of gratitude. Thank God that I'm above ground. In other words, I cried because I didn't have any shoes until I saw a man without any feet. That type of thing. So what we do is we regulate by staying into the positive, trying to stay at a level 4 or 5. Even a level 1 or 2 is good because you're making headway there. The key is to stay out of the negative. And the key is to try not to flatline. So every half hour to hour, check how do I feel. And then you're responsible for how you feel. Don't allow the raise you're supposed to get. Don't allow anybody else to make you feel good. You have to do that on your own.
That's right.
You have to make that a war against, picture the negative being the dragon, learning how to slay the dragon, so to speak. So any negative thoughts come up, anyone tries to sort of put a pin in your balloon, or someone, I'm sure all of you out there, you have what we call the psychic vampire. They walk around with their umbilical cord ready to zap you and drain all your positive energy. So you got to stay away from people like that.
And you know, we're going to be sharing that with you throughout our shows on Mondays, so I hope you're going to be able to tune in. There's so much truth to that. If we just know what to do, and then we can apply these different methods, it really does work. So I want to thank everybody. It's almost time for us to go home and have dinner.
Gee, I hate to quit. I'm enjoying this.
You're on a roll.
Yeah, I want to keep going.
Well, we will keep going next time, same place. And in the meantime, I also wanted to remind you, if you're local, we do our Wisdom of Ages meetup this Thursday from 6 to 8 at the Crescent Oaks Golf and Country Club. So we'd love to see you there. And you can always email myself or my husband, BarbaraMarvel@AOL.com or KellyDennis@AOL.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that we've made a difference in your life, even if it's just one little thing, maybe an exercise, or maybe something we said. So take care. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful week.
God bless you.